Welcome to Us Crazy Christians, where we uncover Christian myths and misinterpretations with common sense Christianity. I'm your host, William E. Smith, and today we're going to talk about part 2 of my time with the devil. Stick around. Before we get started, do me a favor. Give this video a thumbs up by hitting the like button. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. And if you're a returning guest and haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? It's free. Plus, hit the notifications to be notified every time we post a new video. I appreciate you. Now let's get into it. So last video, we left off with a spiritual mentor in my life informing me that now that I had become more serious about God, that now the devil was coming against me more than ever. He said that I had gotten on the devil's radar and he was coming for me. Shortly after that, maybe a couple hours later, I walked into the house and my beloved dog named Otto. I had had this dog for many years, very trained dog. He was a big gray German Shepherd with gray eyes, beautiful. Very kind, sweet dog. He looked scary, but he was very sweet, very obedient. This day, the same day this happened, I walked into the house and my dog Otto ran towards me and stopped and just started growling and showing all his teeth and growling at me, and I'm shocked. I'm like looking around like, what's going on? He never does this. Like, if somebody behind me, what's going on? And I'm looking at him and it's just me. I'm the only one there and he's just looking right at me, walking slow towards me like, "Grr." And this is freaking me out. And I'm like, Otto, what's going on, buddy? You know what? And all of a sudden I remembered what my spiritual mentor said, and I started binding the devil and talking in tongues and praying, and all of a sudden my dog calmed down and started licking his lips and lowered his head and walked up to me so I could rub him. That had never happened before. Nothing even close had happened like that before, or even since. So I was on high alert now after the situation with my dog and after what the minister had said to me. So later that exact same day, my friends and I, Derek, Edgar, and myself, we were all sitting down in the house, just talking. And all of a sudden we heard boom, like somebody had kicked our back door and the door flung open and smacked and hit the back wall. You know, these are 3 boys from the hood. We from Detroit. So immediately we grabbed anything that was close to us. We assumed somebody was trying to break into the house and trying to rob us or something. So we grabbed something, all 3 of us run to the back, and we see no one. The door is just wide open. It was locked with 2 locks. I cannot explain it. None of us can explain it. The door was wide open. It was like boom. You heard the boom like it was kicked open. And it was up against the wall. But it was wintertime. Snow was everywhere. We look out all into the snow. We don't see any footprints anywhere. Freaked us out. So we just simply close the door, start praying, knowing something's going on spiritual, and we all praying and binding the devil and blah, blah, blah. While we're praying, the lamp on the table flies off the table and hits the floor. Like somebody smacked it and knocked it on the floor. Now, all 3 of us are here. That's the same day. Both of my boys, who's still alive and kicking, can verify this story. There was another day, I don't know how soon it was to this, sometime after this, and Derek and I kept seeing Edgar, our other roommate. We would see him like go into the basement and then a minute later come out of the bedroom. It was like, wait a minute, we never saw him come up from the basement. And that kind of stuff kept happening. And it was like, one Edgar was acting funny, like we would call him and he wouldn't respond or something, like it was weird. And it was like, you know, like I said, like he'd go somewhere, like it was 2 Edgars in the house. One would go somewhere, one acted like the regular Edgar who was normal, the other one wouldn't speak to us, but he would just go past us. And we wouldn't see him return, we'd just see him go, and or come, and then I don't even know if that's making any sense, but it was weird. Like I said, it was like he went into the basement, we didn't see him come back up, and the next thing I know, he's coming out of the bedroom. He's like, what y'all looking at? Why y'all looking at me? He was like, Dick, we just saw you go in the basement. Spooky. Spooky stuff. Sometime later, it was summertime. I was laying on the floor in the living room. Derek was laying on a couch in front of me, and behind me was Edgar on another couch. So it was 2 couches in the living room, and I was on the floor, and I had the fan right in front of me. sleep on the floor. So we all chilling right there. There were bedrooms, but for whatever reason, we were all sleeping in the living room. Probably just up all night talking, watching a movie or something like that. And so we sleep. And so I wake up, and this beautiful woman is standing on top of me. She's like right above me, and I'm laying down on the floor, and I look up, and she's standing right here. I remember she had on a red, pretty top, black, like stretch pants. Beautiful. And I look up, and I see her standing there. And I just immediately get up and start following her to the bedroom. And we go around the couch where Derek is and go around the dining room table and about to go into the bedrooms. It's a bathroom here, the bedroom here, and a bedroom here. While I'm following her, I'm taking off my clothes. I know I'm about to have sex with this girl. So I am just walking behind her. As I'm walking, I'm taking off my shirt, my clothes, just following this beautiful woman. And when we get to this turn, she vanishes on me. So I'm looking for her. I can't find her. I'm clicking on all the lights. I'm freaking out. Like, am I dreaming? I'm pinching myself. I'm still standing up in this hallway, looking around like, oh my God, what's going on? I go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, like, what the heck just happened? This girl was standing right here. Now look, it's several problems with this for me at this time because one, I was saving myself for marriage, so I wasn't having sex. So to be in the mindset where I'm following this woman, taking off my clothes, ready to have sex with her, I didn't ask who she was. I didn't ask her name. I didn't ask, how did you get in my house? I got up, followed her, taking off my clothes, ready to have sex with this beautiful woman. Again, this is a guy who got girlfriends who crack jokes on me to this day because we'd be getting hot and heavy kissing and it's about to have sex. I would get up and run out of their house because I was fleeing fornication. So I was not trying to have sex until I was married. And so for this situation to happen, it really shook me in so many different ways. And so I go back in the living room and I get down on the floor and I move the fan. I totally lay a whole different way because I'm like, I want to make sure when I wake up that this wasn't a dream. And so I just rearrange everything. And then when I wake up, everything was just like I thought it was, but my world was still shook the fact that I could be so manipulated by this demon spirit. Whereas at this time I realized I'm all familiar with demons and spiritual warfare, even though this was the first time it happened to me like that. But I felt like a victim, like I was helpless to resist this woman. And again, this is coming from a guy who's not having sex, who's saving himself for marriage. And I was ready to just lose it all to this ghost, demon, whatever, crazy stuff. Sometime later, my boy Derek had invited me to his old church, a church he used to attend years ago. And I went because actually we were going to rap there. We were in a gospel rap group and we were going there to perform. And Derek had grown past the church. He had gone out and left that church and moved on and was grown past it. So he was shocked when I fell in love with that church and I wanted to stay. It was a deliverance ministry. And the pastor talked a lot about the devil and demons and spirits and warfare. And I was in the middle of that. I was battling that all the time. In the church we were a part of, and hardly ever talked about demons. We didn't see this. At this church, people was demon possessed and witches was coming in and fighting. It was all kind of crazy stuff going on. So I was totally excited and attracted to this church. And my man Derek was like, really? What? He was grown past it. This is something new to me, and it was exciting and I loved it. And so I stayed at this deliverance ministry, and this church introduced to me the books about spiritual warfare and demons. And these books scared me and intrigued me at the same time. I also felt like they empowered me because I felt like in order to defeat the enemy, you got to know his tricks or his tactics. And so these books were giving me arms, and it was teaching me about the names of different demons and how to cast them out and to talk to the devil and to find out his goals and his purposes and all of the kind of crazy stuff. I was learning about territorial spirits over neighborhoods, cities, over our country, over buildings and stuff like that, and how to spot demons and just getting a whole bunch of demon education. I felt like a soldier in the army of the Lord, equipping myself to do battle with the enemy. I was there for several years and saw so much stuff. I'm just going to talk about a few things I saw at this church. There was a man who got up out of his seat in church and started walking on the back of the pews. Now look, If you know about how a pew is, there's a seat and there's this little thin back of it that you lean your back on. He walked across the tops of the pews up to the front to go attack the pastor. I got good balance. I cannot imagine walking. He wasn't even looking. It wasn't like he was looking down at his feet. He was looking at the pastor to go get him. So he's looking straight ahead at the pastor, walking across the pews to go attack him. Crazy. After the deacons and I grabbed this brother and hold him down, he began to just go crazy and talking in other languages and cussing in different voices. And he reminded me of the little girl from The Exorcist. He just didn't spin his head around it. He didn't spit the pea soup, but a lot of the other stuff was similar. And that happened a lot at that church. I remember a young girl coming into church. She came in and was quoting all this witchcraft stuff and like trying to curse the church and everything like that. And so a bunch of people grabbed her and tried to pray for her and cast the devil out, and she started cussing people out and doing stuff like the girl in The Exorcist, and just all kind of saying things and sounding crazy with deep voices and all that kind of stuff like this. And it took several grown, big, muscle-bound men to try to hold this little girl down. She was so strong. We were sore after trying to hold her down. And it was crazy. You would never, it would seem that I should be able to hold her by myself. Several of us could barely hold her down, and we just yelling and casting, binding out demons, putting anointing oil on her, and talking tongues and yelling, and everybody's talking and everybody holding their hands out all in the sanctuary. Crazy. I think this lasted for, 2 hours or something. It was crazy. This kind of thing happened often, but we were trying to set these people free. We felt like they were being tormented by demons, and it was our job to free them. There would be people naked on all fours eating the carpet in the church. I could go on and on. This kind of crazy stuff is just, I could talk about this forever. I began to look down on all my previous churches before this one because they obviously, in my mind, weren't doing the work of the Lord, because the devil wasn't attacking their church services like he was ours. So obviously they were no threat to the devil. Our saying was that if the devil isn't attacking you, it's because you're no threat to his kingdom. And if you were no threat, you were basically working for him, so he didn't bother you. One day, some people at church were bragging about this wonderful book about this very powerful witch who had gotten saved and given her life to God. In this book, the lady gives her story about how she had been a very powerful witch and how she would torment many people and make her, I think it was something like move her spirit out of her body and go to people and torment them and just do all kind of spells on people and just stuff like that. And how she would send demons to people, just all kind of things she would talk about that she used to do to people. And something happened to her and she found God, or God found her, however you want to say it. And she gave her life to God and became a Christian. And because of this, a lot of horrible things began happening to her. Other witches who used to serve under her and people who were her contemporaries on her same level would come against her and attack her every night for years. They would send demons to her, and other witches would actually come in their spirit or whatever and come and attack her physically. And this would happen to her every night for years, and she would be in spiritual warfare, battling and fighting these witches and demons every night. Now she would win. As you read her story, she would win, but it would be after much pain and suffering and battling every night. She barely could sleep, and it just crazy. And this went on for years. But the fact that she had to battle like that for her life against demons and witches every night for years bothered me immensely. That, coupled with all the years of my own battles with the demons and the devil, and my own experience in church and exorcisms that lasted for hours, and these immense battles that it seemed like we squeaked out wins against the devil. And again, coupled with what I read about this lady in this book, wounded me terribly. I was in great pain, distress, confusion, and anger. I remember being extremely pissed at God. And I went to God in prayer with tears in my eyes, crying mad. Why would you save this woman and let her suffer like that for years, God? Why would you? She was better off being a witch. Why would I go and tell anybody about coming and giving their life to God, and then you gotta let them battle for years and wrestle and be in that pain and talking about me, I'm serving you, and I gotta go through all this stuff with demons and demons smacking me and hitting me and choking me and stuff like that, and other people, all these exorcism, and they in pain on the floor, and they coming for help, and it's the hours we gotta help them, and they in pain and sore, and demons ripping their body as they coming out. I'm just mad, and God, help me understand. Why is all this craziness happening? Why would you allow this? I threatened God. I ain't never bringing nobody else to Christ. If you don't give me some answers, I ain't never telling nobody else about coming to you. Because I'm not, they'd be better off. They need some more protection. I realized that I subconsciously had put Jesus and the devil on equal footing. Like they were just equal adversaries, one side of the coin. One was just good and one was bad, but they were equal in power and ability. And I had given God a slight edge in power, like God was just a little more powerful, but just a little. And again, I would never admit this publicly, or even to myself, honestly, out of fear or just denial. But I see that now. That is where I was mentally in my heart. I felt like, and that came from years of battles and close calls and the way the devil could affect my life as compared to how God could. It seemed like the devil had more physical ability to do stuff, almost like he was more powerful in some instances. It was maybe I just felt like the devil was closer and God was farther. And because of the devil's vicinity, he was more powerful, whereas God was far away in heaven. I don't know, but subconsciously I just viewed them kind of equal, with God just having a little more power. And I realized that over the years, talking about that a lot of Christians have that same subconscious feeling. They just don't admit it, just like I never would have admitted it either. After I say it, people feel a little more free to say, yeah, I thought that too. Understandable. I went on a long crying rant to God. Just venting, letting out all my frustrations and anger and upset feelings about what I felt was going on. And after I was done, after I calmed down, I felt like God said something to me. I believe I heard God say something to me that changed my entire life. But you're gonna have to wait till next week's video to see the conclusion of this series of my time with the devil. If you wanna see more from us crazy Christians, please hit the notifications bell, hit the like button, share this video, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment. Hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. Is it possible that God is more loving, kind, and compassionate than we previously imagined? Thank you for watching us crazy Christians. Until next time, be blessed.